on, guys? Austin Laramie here from Zero to Hero Dog Training, and today I want to talk about door manners. All right. The key to having a really good dog is doing simple things, and one of the simple things, the first things that I work on, is doorways. Okay, this is called threshold training, teaching dogs not to just bust through the door. Right. This is important because it builds leadership and it builds trust in the owners from the dog. Right? So I don't let any of my dogs just bust through the doors. This is his second day with us. He does not know this yet. All day yesterday, I let him bust through all the doors because I wanted to teach this fresh for you guys. All my dogs know it, so it'd be no use to really teach it because they're not actually making mistakes. So I'm gonna show you guys this in real time. He'll be boarding with us for 2 months. He's a working line German Shepherd, pretty cool dog, about a year old. Really awesome dog. And yeah, so what you want to do is you want to put a leash on your dog and you want to get some food. You don't need food for this. He might not even eat because he's kind of anxious. Everything's new to him right now. This is classic German Shepherd behavior. But you want to have a leash on your dog, and the goal is, at least right now, your first few sessions, I'm saying nothing at all. Okay, I teach a wait command and I teach an enter command. Wait means to wait at any doorway or stairs. Enter means to go through any open door, right? But in the beginning, before I ever say the word, I say nothing, right? I shape it and I get the dog in a habit of just understanding not to go through the door until I release him. So I guess I am saying something. I'm saying my release word to let him go through. But I'll show you how it's done. So if you want to follow me. So I do have the door propped open. It's going to make it a little easier, just for the video's sake. I don't want to have to keep opening the door. But here's what you want to do. You want to go to whatever door you have, and you want to do this with multiple doors. I'm saying nothing. I'm going to walk to the door. As soon as he goes through, I'm just going to pull him back through. I'm not going to correct the dog at this point. I'm just pulling him through. So I'm going to walk through. If he follows me, I'm just gonna walk back through the doorway. I'm gonna walk through again. If he follows me, Good boy. And again, I'm not saying any commands here. When I say I'm teaching him that that is my leash pressure, or just pressure in general marker. So when he hears to him it's not, he's in trouble, it's just not a wrong answer, man. Let's try again. I'm using the leash to fix it. That's the only thing I'm saying. So again, as he's doing good at the doorway, I'm going to reward him while he's through the door. Good boy. I'm gonna walk through the door again. If he follows, and I'm just gonna pull him back in. And I'll sit here and I'll just wait for him to go through the door. So if he goes through the door, I'm pulling him back in every time. Good. I don't tell my dog to sit or anything, right? Because if I'm telling him to sit here, I'm not actually teaching not to go through the door. I'm just teaching him sit, and there's just conveniently a door right here, right? So again, my dog is free to leave the door, right? He's free to go through, but every time your dog goes through, you're just gonna pull them back in. As simple as that. And you're gonna stand here. Right now, he's actually doing really good, which is insane. I really wanted him not to do this good, but that's all right. Again, this is literally the first time I've done this. It doesn't take a lot. But again, before I ever walk through the door, I'm standing at the door and I'm letting my dog go through. Every time my dog goes through, I just say and I pull him back in. And I'll just stand here until he does this. Usually once they're done, they're gonna sit on their own, in which case at that moment, I'm gonna say good, and I'm gonna reward him for sitting. But I'm not telling him to sit. He doesn't have to sit, he just has to look at me. After you get your dog to stop going through the door when you're standing still, and again, you're not blocking him, allow him to go through the door, pull him back in when he does, over and over. You're gonna do many repetitions until you get to this point. Once you're at this point where your dog is not going through the door anymore, then you're gonna start walking through the door. But the second your dog starts to go through the door, you're gonna say and you're gonna come back through the door and pull him back in. And you're gonna do that, that's step 2. So I'm gonna start walking through. If he follows me, I'm gonna walk back in. I'm gonna reset. Good. If he stays, I'm gonna say good where I'm at, and I'm gonna go and bring him a reward. If your dog won't eat, you could simply just praise him and pet him. Then I'm gonna do this multiple times. Good. Good. And again, if he goes through the door, he's not in trouble, right? We're not correcting him at this point. At least popping the leash or anything. We're just teaching him. It's brand new to him. Good. 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 That's what you want to do. Once you get to this point where you can be outside the door and your dog is staying, and really I don't even want his head coming out, but that's all right. It's our first session. I'll let it slide right now. But once you get to this point where his paws are not breaking past the threshold and he's staying there, After this point, then you're going to use your release command. Or I like to teach the word enter. Two things there. I'm going to say enter, which he doesn't know, so I'm going to say enter, pause, then I'm going to pull him through. When he comes through, I'm going to reward him. So I'm going to say enter, yes, good. Now I'm going to repeat that process multiple times in one session. So I'm going to restart the whole thing. So he's relatively good here, good. Right, so this is step one. Standing at the door, waiting for the dog to leave. As soon as he leaves, you just pull him back in. Once he's not trying to go through the door, step two, I walk through the door. He follows, and I come back in. He doesn't follow, I say good. I walk to him, and I give him a reward. I'll do that again, The very second your dog goes through the door, that's the moment you're going to say and you're going to pull him back in. Or you could just literally say nothing and pull him back in. But I like to put everything on a marker, a command, and an action. Good. Good. And then step three. Now I'm going to release him. Enter. Yes. I'm saying enter, which he doesn't know it. Then I'm pulling the leash. The second he goes through the door, I'm marking and rewarding. Now it goes the same way, right? You want to do this, okay, with multiple doors. Just because he does it with this door doesn't mean the door upstairs he'll know it. Doesn't mean the door at the grocery store, the door in the kitchen, like every door, right? You want to show him with multiple doors in the beginning with like no distractions, right? Like very little distraction in the beginning. Make it as easy as possible, very clear to him what you want. So I'm gonna go in the door, right? I was going out the door, now I'm gonna do it in the door. So he's doing good here, good. So I'm gonna walk through. If he follows me, I'm gonna do the same thing. Right? And me just walking into him is also pressure. Same thing as leash pressure, it's all pressure. Good. So he doesn't go through the door, I say good, and I come and reward him. I walk back through the door. Good. Now, once he's chilling, then I'm going to say, enter. Yes. As soon as he goes through the door, I'm marking reward. Okay, so that's how simple it is in the beginning. It's very easy. You have to be patient. He just made me look really, really good. Like, he's doing really good actually, which is, I mean, for the video's sake, never good, because, you know, people are always like, he already knows it, you're lying. And I promise he's never seen this before. I did not do this all day yesterday with him just for this video, because I had a lot of you commenting saying you need a video like this. But I promise it really doesn't take a lot. He's a smart dog. But to recap, very simple summary. Here's what you do. Step one, you open the door. and you allow your dog to go through. The second he breaks this threshold, I say, I pull him back in. He breaks the threshold, pull him back in. Breaks the threshold, pull him back in. Once he's chilling there and doesn't break it, good, and reward him. Good, and reward him. Step 2, I start moving. I walk through the door. If he follows, again, I do the same thing, put him back in. I walk through, he follows, put him back in. I walk through, he stays, good. I reward him. And I'm gonna touch up his head. Like, I don't even want their head coming through at all, really. Like, so I'll show you how I fix that. Might as well on the video. So again, I'm gonna walk through, his head goes through, Good. Good. So that's step 2. Once you can get all the way out the door and he's inside the door, then you go to step 3. I'm going to say, enter. Yes. As soon as he goes through the door, I mark and I reward. Teaching him that enter means to go through the door. He doesn't know the wait command yet. I won't say the word wait until about a couple days from now. I'm going to take him every single door and I'm going to do this same exact thing. What you want to do in the beginning is you want to be super firm about it. Don't go 50-50. Every single doorway, you should be doing this. And if you're in a rush, then you should have probably started a few minutes before. Again, if you just take the time to do it just like this, every single doorway, you watch. In 7 days, I mean even like 3 days, your dog is going to automatically, when you open the door, they're just going to look at you and they're not going to go through. You're going to walk through, they're going to stay in. Then you're going to release them to come through. But if you do it 50-50 and you do it halfway, then your dog's going to be sloppy, right? So if you take the time to do it like this, every doorway you have, it'll be a lot faster and it'll be extremely clear to your dog what you want and what the expectation is, okay? But now I want to talk about proofing the command, right? Let's say we already taught him wait, he knows it. This is extremely easy. There's nothing going on behind the camera. We're just outside. There's no distractions. This is where people fail. They get the dog to do commands with like no distractions, and then they think their dog knows it, right? So let's say I have him waiting at the door, and now there's the mailman walking. He's going to bust through the door because he likes to chase the mailman. And again, maybe he understood very well he's supposed to wait at the door, but what happens? He's never seen it with the mailman there, or I throw a ball through, or there's a dog, right? So this is called proofing the command. Once he knows it pretty good, you want to start adding more and more difficult distractions to teach your dog to have a stronger command. So what I mean by that, I get him really, really good here. So again, I get him very nice here. He does really good like this. But maybe I'll pull out a ball and I throw the ball. And I guarantee if I had a ball right now and I threw it, he would go through the door to chase it. In which case, I would do the same thing. Put him back through. I would take the ball again, throw it. If he goes to chase the ball, put him back through. I would take the ball again, throw it. If he waits, I'm going to say good, and I'm going to reward him. And then I'm going to release him to come through. So you have to start adding distractions in order for this to be a real command. Because again, waiting at the door with nothing going on is way different than waiting at the door when there's a mailman, a dog, I throw a ball through. Or on another note, you want to start adding distance. So what I mean by that is I just have a 6-foot leash here, but I could put him on the 20-foot leash, and I guarantee that I can get here and he won't follow. Like I can get here. No. So I get here, he doesn't follow, but I guarantee if I dropped the leash or I had a 20-foot leash and I walked down these stairs, he would then follow. Because again, the more distance you get, the harder it gets for him. He's gonna go, oh, I gotta follow that guy, right? So that's a distraction too. Put a long leash on and add some distance now. It'd be the same thing. I have a 20-foot leash and I start walking, right? If the moment he starts going through the door, wherever I'm at, I say I walk back to him and I put him back through. Then I walk away again and I go to where I was at. If I make it to where I was at and he doesn't go through, I say good wherever I'm at. I walk back to him and I reward him. So I'm gonna grab a ball and I'm gonna show you guys what I mean by proofing the command. Cool. So now I have him on the long line and I have a ball. This is going to change everything we just did. You see, he gets super amped up for the ball. So now I'm gonna show you what I mean. Pretend this ball is a dog, a mailman, another person, you name it. Whatever you wanna name it, this ball is that. Whatever your dog struggles with. So here, he doesn't know manners yet, right? He wants to get it. So again, we just did this little session. Of course, he's not trained. This is session number 1. Not trying to say like I'm a magical trainer at all. He just did really good. I'm pretty average, but here we go. I'm doing the same thing, right? And I'll show you that he's not going to do it again. He's gonna go right through the door for the ball. As soon as I throw it, he's gonna chase the ball, I guarantee it. If he doesn't, I'm gonna say good and I'm gonna reward him. If he does chase the ball, I'm going to say and I'm gonna pull him back in. I'm gonna go grab the ball and I'm gonna do it again until he stays. So I'm gonna throw the ball, pull him back in, right? Then I'm gonna walk through the door. The ball's over there. And I'm gonna walk through the door because he wants to get the ball, right? So I'm gonna do step 2. Good, Again, I don't want his head coming through the door. Good. And I'll train 2 things at once. I'll train distance and distraction. I want to try to go and get that ball, but I also want him to stay. Good. So in the process of me getting the ball, I'm going to walk, I'm going to walk back to him a few times to reward him before I get to the ball at small increments. I want to slowly increase my distance that I can go. Good. And again, if any time, if any time he exits the door with me getting the ball, I'm going to say where I'm at, and I'm going to put him back in. I get here, he doesn't break, I'm saying good where I'm at, Nope. So, he stayed, I said good. In the process of me going to him, he broke through the doorway, which the cancels out the reward. So now I don't reward him. But if he didn't break, I would have went to him and gave him the reward there. So again, good. He's sitting right here. Now I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna put him back through. Right? This is where stuff doesn't get so pretty. This is kind of what I want. I want him to make mistakes so you guys can see how I work through it, right? If it looked all good all the time, it'll just not help anybody. So, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna throw the ball. If he stays, I'm immediately going to say good and reward him. Good. His head is a little out. I don't mind though. I get a little farther. Good. And I walk back. You want to do baby steps. I'm not trying to go all the way to the ball yet. I want him to win. Now I'm going to say good. Good. I'm going to give him the reward. Right? So we did it again. So now I don't give him the reward. I fix it. So here we go. 3rd time's a charm. We'll see. I'm going to throw the ball, and you already know what I'm about to do. Good. Good. I'm going to give him lots of praise, lots of food, whole handful. Good boy. That's a good boy. Now I'm going to walk through if he follows. Good. Right? So that's how it's done, right? It doesn't take a lot. Never once did I have to pop his leash, man. Of course, you want to add corrections later on. Good. This time I said good, and he didn't go through the door. So now, now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set the ball right here. Good. He didn't break when I dropped it. I reward that moment. You have to do everything in baby steps. You have to make it crystal clear what you want from your dog. Good. Now again, I'm gonna make it a little harder. This time, I'm going to run through the door with the ball. And if he breaks, you know what I'm gonna do. Good. He didn't break that very moment. I say good. Now I do the same thing. Now I'm gonna throw it again. Good. Right? So it takes a lot of repetitions. Here we go. I never did this. He always breaks it. So let's see. I'm gonna say good where I'm at. Good. I'm gonna walk to him. And he gets the reward. Look at that. Made it so clear to him, he understands. At the end of this, I'm gonna release him. I'm gonna let him get the ball too. That's crucial. Good. Because he really could care less about the food. He wants the ball, I tell you. So now I'm gonna add distance. We can walk a little farther. Good. I'm gonna walk back to him and reward him. Now, finally, I'm going to release him and let him, play a little bit. Enter. Yes. Good. Good boy. Come on. Come on. So I'm going to give him a little play, right? He earned that. He really earned that. Good. Good. That's a good boy. Good, good, good. Good boy. Oh, that's a good dog. That's a good dog. All right. I didn't teach him the drop command yet. Of course, it's day 2, so I'm just gonna wait for him to drop it. Of course, he wants to play. I could add some pressure to get him to drop it, which I will. Cool. Now I'm gonna do the same thing one more time for you guys. Now that we played, he's a little more amped up. So I'm gonna throw the ball and I think he's going to break. So he kind of stopped himself there. That was Walk halfway. Good. Good boy. Good job. I grabbed the ball. Good. I say good. I said good, but he went through the door. My cancels the good. He doesn't get the reward. Now, I throw the ball again. Good. I immediately say good, and I reward him. Good boy. He doesn't really care about the food, so I really don't have to feed him. Guys, what's super important though is that you have to mark the very moment he breaks through the door. Not when he's already out, the very moment he proceeds through. That's crucial if you're going to mark it with least pressure marker like or whatever word you use. But again, even if you're not saying anything, the moment he goes through, that's the moment you need to be fixing it and putting him through. Don't start popping his leash at this point. There's no need for it. He doesn't even know. How could I punish him for something he doesn't know, right? I have to show him. I have to make it very clear to him what I want from him, right? You have to show your dog what you want first and then teach them what not to do, right? Don't just look at dog training as don't do this, don't do this, don't do it, right? Like it's ridiculous, dude. So I'm gonna grab the ball. I get all the way over here. He stays. I say good. And look at that. He doesn't go through. But now he doesn't care about the food. He wants the ball. So I'm going to use this as the reward now. So. Here's another thing you can do that I like to do a lot. I like to go back to the dog and I like to go back to the dog and I like to grab the leash and make it look like I'm leaving, but I don't say anything. And then if he breaks, of course, I fix it. So I go back to him. All right, buddy. Now, I walk in the door. That's good. I like to reward the sit. That's a good decision. But here we go. I throw the ball. Yes! I say yes, and I let him go get the ball. And then that's the session. That'll be the session. And we'll start adding corrections whenever he gets really good at it in multiple environments. So look, I did it at this door. I'm going to do it at my front door, which is upstairs. I'm gonna do it with the kitchen door, my back door, the car door, right? Multiple doors, multiple distractions. I'm gonna let my dog run through the door, and if he follows my dog, I'm gonna say, right? I'm gonna run through the door. I'm gonna let the postman be walking. I'm gonna let the FedEx truck come, and I'm gonna show him multiple things. Once he sees all those things, then I'm gonna add the corrections. Once he knows better, right? Yeah, that's a good boy. Yeah, that's a good dog. Yeah, good boy. Oh, good boy. Come on, come on. Yeah, good. 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 Oh, what a good dog. Good dog. Come on. Good. Cool, guys. So that's how you teach your dogs not to bust through the door. You got to add distractions. Keep it simple at first. No distractions. The less you say, the better. You saw I didn't say nothing but good, enter, and yes. Very easy. I'm not talking to him. The leash does all the communication, right? So be very patient with your dog and take it slow. Add distractions. Proof your command. Make sure your timing is impeccable. The second he breaks the door, you're fixing it. Do this with every door in the beginning. And mark my words, after a week, your dog is going to be very, very nice at the doorway, right? You have to do this though. Don't be lazy about it, okay? Let me know if this makes sense. It'll really help if you guys could like, comment, subscribe. I sound like a corny YouTuber. But really it does help though. It helps a lot. There's a lot of people struggling out there, so this kind of pushes it into the algorithm. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. You guys have a great day. Peace.